Wednesday, November 24th, 2021, marks the 100th anniversary of the birth of Father Joseph Michael Stefanelli, SM. We at the North American Center for Marianist Studies have put together this tribute to honor this Marianist who contributed so much to Marianist scholarship.
Born to Michael and Cesarina Stefanelli in Cincinnati, Ohio, Joe attended Purcell High School, where he was taught and influenced by the Marianists, the brothers and priests of the Society of Mary. After graduating from high school, Joe entered the Marianist novitiate and made his first profession of vows on August 15, 1940, in Dayton, Ohio. Following his college studies at the University of Dayton, where he earned his BA in philosophy, Brother Joe taught for 4 years on the high school level. In 1948, he crossed the Atlantic by ship to begin seminary studies at Freiburg, Switzerland. He was ordained on July 22, 1951.
While in the seminary, Marianists were encouraged to do focused research on Marianist topics. Father Joe did extensive research on the constitutions of the Society of Mary, and in 1952 published his thesis in French. The English translation appeared in 1966, the historical development of the first chapter of our constitutions. Returning to the States in 1952, Father Joe became a member of the newly formed Province of the Pacific. Following a few years of teaching high school, Father Joe was named the director of the newly formed Working Brother community on the property of Chaminade in Santa Cruz, California. He was then assigned to be director of novices, a position he held for 8 years, from 1956 to 1964. During these years, Father Joe dove deeply into our Marianist heritage, a gift he shared with the novices. Here is what some of his novices and others have shared about Father Joe.
Richard Hudak recalls, "I was really impressed with the example of his spirituality. What I learned and experienced in that novitiate year has benefited me in my life ever since. A few years before he passed, I visited him in Cupertino. We talked about his weaving, among other things, as I am a beginning weaver myself. I've often thought of him over these many years." Father Ted Lay remembers, "Father Joe taught us how to think, to stretch our thinking, to have a more mature opinion on things. This has helped me to make more practical and effective choices." Brother Tom Jalbert reflects, "Father Joe was very gracious to me during my discernment. I admired his love for Marianist Studies, as I was a participant on the Marianist Studies program in 1971, where Joe was the scholar in residence."
Marianist sister Laura Lemming shared that the experience of Father Joe's love for Mother Adele developed my own deep appreciation for Adele. While Father Joe was doing his research for his book on Adele, he would seek out our opinions. That really touched me. Brother Dennis Schmitz shared that in the mid-1980s, Father Joe came to Korea for Marianist seminars. These were such solid presentations on our founders. And Father Marty Solma recalled that in our Marianist formation classes in Eastern Africa, we relied heavily on Father Joe's Our Marianist heritage. He had the amazing ability to communicate complex ideas in a clear and compelling manner. Father Joe was a real gem of a Marianist, a scholar, leader, writer, spiritual director, indeed a holy man. Brother Frank Spaeth, a contemporary of Father Joe, shared that Father Joe was an outstanding Marianist in many ways. He had many abilities, good judgment, common sense. He was intelligent. He was a clear and exact writer, and had a variety of artistic interests, weaving, jigsaw puzzles. He even put together a ship and a bottle, and made a 3D puzzle of Notre Dame Cathedral. Up to his last days, Joe was a fine example of living our Marianist life, a steady, shining example for us all.
Father Joe was elected a delegate to the 1966 General Chapter, and then elected by the chapter delegates as the Assistant for Religious Life on the General Administration. In 1967, he had a heart attack and had to return to the States for recuperation. Following his recovery, Father Joe was appointed the 4th Provincial of the Province of the Pacific. He received and accepted this appointment on July 22, 1973, the 22nd anniversary of his ordination. During his 8 years as provincial, Father Joe strongly supported the development of the Marianist family, offering days of recollection on Marianist themes for both lay and religious. As provincial, Father Joe was a member by right on the 1976 General Chapter and was elected president of that chapter. This important General Chapter outlined the process for the writing of the revision of the constitutions, and as a delegate of the 1981 General Chapter, he was on Commission 1, the group that wrote the first chapter of the Rule of Life. Father Joe gave several annual retreats to the religious, 2 of which were recorded, transcribed, and published. From the 1971 retreat, we have the foundational book, Our Marianist Heritage, and from the 1984 retreat, we have Marianist Heritage and the Rule of Life.
Following his term as provincial, Father Joe was instrumental in the development of NACMS, the North American Center for Marianist Studies. His ongoing research, writing, and translations over several decades have added much to our knowledge of Marianist history and our understanding of the Marianist charism. Brother Jack Somerville reflects that, on a workshop for working brothers, Father Joe was a major presenter, and his explanation of the significance of the life and ministry of the working brothers in the context of the Marianist family was wonderful. His lifelong motto was, "Accept and adjust." He gave that piece of wisdom to me and to many. I'll never forget that wisdom, and I have applied it to my life several times. Longtime friends of Father Joe remember him as being a calm and steady presence. His motto of "accept and adjust" has been a real help over the years. He aged so gently and with dignity. His presence at Queen of Apostles Parish in San Jose, California, was indeed a gift.
Grace Zollman, head nurse at the Cupertino Marianist Community with Healthcare, reflects that Father Joe was an example of a well-balanced human being. He was intelligent and logical, but he was also very practical, simple, and genuine. He also had many crafty skills that we all enjoyed. He taught me to accept and adjust when things got really rough. Father Joe died in his sleep on the morning of August 17, 2018. Father Joe was able to live in the 2 modalities of Marianist scholarship and of everyday common life. he found joy in living and in sharing in both worlds. It seems quite appropriate to end this tribute to Father Joseph Stefanelli with this video clip of him from 2010.
But I told her once, because we were talking spiritual things, and I said something about, well, you know, I have a very good motto. She said, oh, what is it? I said, AA. Well, Alcoholics Anonymous? I said, no, accept and adjust. And I think that's what Chaminade wanted the novices to learn. God is in charge, we are not. We don't understand what he's doing. I don't understand the computer, but somebody does. Somebody does. And so accept. If it's something that has to be changed or shouldn't be the way it is, and I can do something about it, I'll try to do it. But if I can't, what are my alternatives? I can complain and gripe and criticize. I can storm out and rage. You know, that doesn't do any good. Accept and adjust. Because if you don't adjust, then that thing is always going to be there.